get burnt, children. All right, have fun. Be careful. Saturday night. Be careful. Oh my God.
Roll started, baby.
Oh, wait. There it is.
You see him.
We see him.
This man's a unit, an absolute unit.
Look at him.
Yeah, dude, just get it.
Can I get your sleep setup soaking wet?
I think something wet if you get that.
All right, Koté, what do we got going on here?
We got the crib. It's kind of messy, all right?
MTV Koté's crib.
MTV cribs. Let me clean up a little bit.
Does anyone know the MTV Cribs soundtrack?
I forget the soundtrack.
It's playing right now.
Yeah. We got the mattress. This folds up so I can have a passenger, right? And then we have the extender.
Oh shit!
Yeah, and then this folds down.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Here's my little sleep setup.
Where
do
your feet go?
Down that way.
I was gonna say it looks kind of slanted, but then I realized we're parked on a slant.
Yeah. So, this is my little lock box.
Hey, what's the code?
6969. Then you go like this. Open this up. You got a little safety deposit box there. You can store grapes,
Valuable.
trail mix. I don't even know the valuable stuff.
Well,
Man, dude,
now
this
everyone
is
knows what
solid.
your
You
valuables
fucking
are.
built this, huh?
Yeah.
Dude, and this is like acoustically kind of nice. So you can get some cajon action going.
Yeah. Oh, and then the kitchen.
Oh, the kitchen.
Oh, we got a whole kitchen. This is like a house tour.
Absolutely. This will be where the stove goes. I need to put a cleat there.
So it extends out.
Yeah, here's the stove top.
Wow,
And then you
nice.
got pots and pans, other
You
storage.
could use
I'll
this
put
as
some phone.
prep,
Yeah, I
too.
can put a little stove there. Battery's gonna go here. Fridge goes there, and then in between, once I get those in there, measure it out. I'm gonna build a cubby system that goes up and over the battery and over the fridge.
Wait, do that over motion again? Just looked like you were flexing.
Up, over.
yeah. He was like up and over, up and over, up and over, up and over. Nice, man. Hell yeah, that's sick. Alright, guys, if you like this MTV Cribs tour with Koté's crib, give us a like.
Hey.
See you next time. What?
100. Oh. Look at you though. You're pretty cool too.
Alright, we got Koté 1 and Koté 2.
Koté 3 and Koté 4.
I guess I'm Koté now. What's up, YouTube?
What's up,
We out here,
YouTube?
back here with another video with my man Koté. Oh wait, I just got the low power reading. Hold on.
Is that gonna pause it?
No.
Oh. Does it make the video go blurred too?
What's up, YouTube?
What's up, dude?
Back here with another video with my man Koté.
Yeah, what's up, dude? Just going on the tubes?
Yeah.
The
It's gonna be
YouTube?
a 10-minute video.
Let's just stop. After our podcast. This is the post-pod.
The post-pod decompression.
The post-pod The post-pod coffee.
We get that
in the cold.
The post coffee in the cold.
Post.
Two guys. Have you seen that meme of like the two white guys start a podcast? It's like every white guy in existence.
No, I haven't seen that.
I don't know why they're white, but
Oh yeah, why are they white?
two white guys start a podcast.
We
Well,
are
we
white.
have Birkenstocks. That's pretty granola.
We both have birds. Well, mine are knockoff.
Two ADHD boys start a podcast.
Corticus. Whatever brand that is.
Porticus. Man, what are you, poor?
They were $20.
Porticus.
Porticus. That sounds like an old Greek.
Porticus.
Porticus.
But he became a king.
It was a bastard son.
Porticus.
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 Porticus and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Porticus. Sounds like porpoise.
Porpoise. Porpoise.
Look at this tree popping off.
Where? Oh. In the video. I looked in real life.
You
What tree?
looked in IRL and I was stuck in
You're stuck in the
video
Matrix.
mode.
Dude, this is just a... It's just a Dude, let's go crazy.
Such an
video,
unflattering angle.
Literally. Look at us. There's a bunch of goons.
Just a couple of boys.
Really?
Alright, guys. This is
Ice.
Tide chili.
Tide chili in the warm.
In the warm.
No, Tide
Thai
tea
iced tea and boba
in the warm.
in the warm.
In the
womb.
in
we're just babies.
in the womb. It's the inaugural episode.
Thai iced babies in the warm.
In the warm.
Special
in the warm
episode
field.
brought to you by a warm field.
What is this field called again? This is
Dog field.
McNary.
Mitch,
Dogs.
don't tell them where we're at.
Oh yeah. You don't know where we're at.
You don't know where we're at. You don't know me.
I mean, I'm pretty sure this memo.
Hey, make sure your voice is just as close as mine.
Oh yeah.
It's gotta be equidistant.
Equidistant to the microphone.
So that way I'm not like
Overpowering.
talking. Yeah, I can't overpower you in this episode. don't let me dominate you in this episode. Dude, this is what I'm saying. You put us together. It's the most ADHD shit ever.
Dude, let's start a podcast.
So guys, this is our like 5th episode. We haven't really released all of the episodes, but what's up? I'm Finley, and I'm here with my great friend. Introduce yourself. See, I just dominated the conversation. Do you want to introduce me instead?
I was waiting for you to introduce me.
Oh, this is Koté. I won't say his last name for privacy reasons.
Oh yeah, well, I'm sure there's lots of Kotés out there in America.
I don't know, man. You're the first one I met.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic.
Were you?
Privacy reasons.
For privacy reasons.
The only Finley and Koté in America.
That'd be crazy, dude. No, everybody's naming their daughter Finley now.
Really?
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Emasculated. No, I don't care. I think my name is great, and I think people should give my name to everybody, and the whole world should be Finley.
So your master plan comes out.
My master plan. They thought that they named their daughter Finley by free choice, but actually I incepted that idea into every child that's now named Finley. Fool, you thought. So yeah, Koté.
Finley overtaking the world.
Koté and Finley out here in the field.
In the field.
So Koté, how have you been lately? Don't lie.
I could go with the short answer, like we were talking about earlier. Just good.
Dang, man, you really gonna give the podcast good? People are.
No. I can be real. I've been.
Be real.
Been pretty decent.
Take a picture on the front and the back.
Be real. I was like, what are you saying? Be real. Do you have Be Real?
No.
I have Be Real.
Follow me on Be Real at Finley.
At Finley. Whoever that
at
is.
Finley take over the world. No.
This will be your next album.
I don't have Be Real.
Finley's.
No, tell me how you've been. I interrupted you.
World.
Tell me how you're doing.
Well, you know how I'm doing.
/ tell the podcast.
Tell the podcast how you're doing. I'm in a season of change.
Beautiful.
Moving into my vehicular unit.
You're moving into the vehicle?
Moving into vehicle.
What kind of vehicle?
It's
I may or may not be staring right at it.
It is a blue vehicle. Boxy.
License plate.
VIN number. My serial number is...
My social security.
My serial number. I meant social security.
No, wait, did you?
Yeah, I meant to say
I
said serial number.
I thought you meant serial on the car.
No, I meant...
Cars have serial numbers. It made sense.
Okay. Well, I said VIN number for the car.
Oh.
And then I meant to say social security number, but I said serial number.
Is a VIN number and serial number the same thing?
Honestly, I don't know, but I know I used my VIN number to get the paint color match, so I could get a paint pen to block out some dents in my car.
Nice.
Some chipped paint.
Chipped
paint.
All right, so you're moving into your car?
Moving into my car, dude. It's weird. It's wild.
How does that make you feel?
Uneasy, excited, nervous, doubtful.
What inspired you to move into your car? I'm grilling him, folks.
Oh boy,
I'm,
that's
I'm
a question.
I'm grilling him. He's not gonna get a chance to bite back.
You know, I've always felt inspired to do it. You know, I mean, I guess if I break it down, seeing other people do it, you know, being in an echo chamber of, you know, beautiful sights around the world on social medias and seeing people travel. I was like, dang, that's cool.
You've done a
Could
bit
I
of
do that?
You've done a bit of travel this summer, haven't you?
Just a bit, just a little bit.
Where have you gone this summer?
Bali, Hawaii, and Spain.
This man's been all over.
Spain's been all over.
So it sounds like you have a innate desire to get out there and travel. So
yeah,
that maybe means you're making the right move.
Perhaps. I think I definitely derive a lot of joy and difficulty from travel. It's hard to get out of your comfort zone. I'm definitely a homebody, so often pre-travel I get anxious and overwhelmed and like urge to just call it off. But you know, pre-travel, when the idea's birthed to like actually take a trip somewhere, I'm stoked. I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
But then, you know, the night of, you know, departure, pre-departure, it's like that threshold of like, okay, I'm leaving this place for a good amount of time. That's kind of like daunting often, especially if you're going across the world. Or if you're literally moving out of your house and putting stuff into your car and just living out of it. That's been very daunting. It's like, dude, this is awesome and it's great. I'll get to be able to see a lot of things that I otherwise wouldn't. But it comes at a cost of comfort, I think.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. That made me think of like the anxiety that I would get before going on like a camping trip or something, of like, oh, did I forget something, or is the weather going to be good? And applying it to a bigger picture adventure, I really don't think there's any difference, right? Because it's like, no matter what you're doing, wherever you're at, you know, we chase comfort, you know, from the idea of like, oh, if we stay home, everything's going to go as planned. But really, like, will it? You know, like, even if you stay home, do things go as planned? Like, obviously, yeah, you can watch TV and you can lounge around and you can not do anything really, but I still think that there is an element to life that is just full of unpredictability, and I think it's awesome that you're facing more unpredictability. Because honestly, like, if you can beat unpredictability, like, you've figured out a really great portion of life.
Wow.
Because it's always unpredictable, right? Like, no one really knows. No one knows why we're here or what we're supposed to be doing. So
that is an interesting point. Yeah, like, literally just putting yourself in unpredictable situations 24/7 is a recipe for, you know, growing a lot.
Yeah, because it's adaptability over and over and over again.
And over and over again, yeah. So I think that is honestly a reason why I've done it, because I felt the desire to stretch. You know, like you were saying earlier, getting a stretch in. Your body needs it, and you need to stretch. And I think getting too comfortable in a place isn't often a good thing. And like, that doesn't mean you can't get comfortable and like settle down in somewhere and live there for the rest of your life. But if you're just doing the same old thing all the time and you're not trying new things and growing, then you're setting yourself up for I don't know, what's the word? Setting yourself up for stagnant demise.
Stagnant life, yeah.
Stagnant.
Dude, I mean, I've been thinking a lot about my own life and just how to put myself into not even necessarily uncomfortable situations, but just new situations where I'm learning. It's definitely something I need to do, but I have trouble making the conscientious decision of like, what will I do that is uncomfortable? You know, will I try a new activity? Will I don't know, like the most recent thing I did that I would say was semi-uncomfortable was I I tried country western dance.
Dude, I've been wanting to try that. How
You
was
know,
it?
It was hard. It was really hard. Like we learned this, and like I will admit, like I like doing things. I think most people will resonate with this. Is I like doing things that I'm good at. You know, I like to, whatever it is that I'm doing. You know, if it's something athletic or whatever. Like I grew up being an athletic kid, and you know, I'm a fairly fit person. So doing most athletic stuff, I feel confident doing, and it makes me feel good because I'm good at it. But there is something to be said about the humility you gain, because like I am a terrible dancer. I'm so uncoordinated with the beat, and you know, just doing that, it made me like anxious, and I don't know, and I don't think that like I think that the point is to try it, right? Like it's like you don't have to love it, and like it's something I would do again, but yeah, I don't know. I guess it was an experience I don't regret though.
Yeah.
Right? Like I showed up and I did it, and I don't regret it, and it was fun. But also like we do have things that we resonate with more, that we're, you know, that we have fun doing, and those can all count as new experiences. You know, you can find an activity that you like, you know, like camping, you know, and you can camp a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
And you say, I like camping. I'm going to go to all these new locations, and that can be an experience. You know, you can choose your own adventure book out here.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. That is a cool thing though about, you know, that tidbit about you saying like trying things that you're not good at for the sake of, you know, stretch. I mean, it is a stretch. You're stretching yourself out, and I think people can get very comfortable. And I think it is that humility aspect. Is it like it keeps you humble? Because I think you can get very prideful in just remaining in your own lane of your good qualities. But when you stretch out and try things that you suck at, it's kind of opens a window to like, oh, I'm really not like all that, you know.
Yeah, but
it is something.
The thing that's cool though is like that just made me think of, you know, there was a time when Koté and I mean, Koté still does a lot more videography stuff, I would say, than I do, but when I first started video stuff, like I bought a $150 GoPro and just started like bringing it around with me and like filming random stuff, you know, like, and that was where I started in my video creation career. And it was like, I have to start somewhere. I have to begin somewhere. And I you know, I was inspired by someone. I was inspired by a friend who did it, and then I was like, oh, I want to do that. And then, you know, started learning. And it's kind of a similar story with like making music. You know, you start out just being really bad at whatever you're doing, and like that's where everyone begins. And no matter what it is that you do, you're going to begin and be a novice, and that's like, it's not the point, right? The point is like enjoying what you're doing. And honestly, I enjoy both of those activities still today. I enjoy making videos, I enjoy making music, and I mean, I'm a lot better at them now, but the point is still the same, that I like have fun. I have fun with it.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm trying to, I don't know. I mean, if your point is to like be, maybe not necessarily be the best, but to level up your game, like you'll keep leveling up because you love it so much, and you love the beauty of these intricate pieces, or you know, and I think that applies to everything. It's like if you want to level up your camping game, right? You're gonna maybe try and camp in like more rugged locations, or you know, your skateboard game, you're gonna try more risky tricks, you know.
That's an interesting point when you say level up. I think, and I think it kind of goes to this point of intention, of like your intent of leveling up, which springs back into a conversation Finley and I had prior to pressing record. Was like why do we do things? You know, why do we create? Why do we even talk to people and tell people about our lives? Like, is it all for this innate desire for validation, you know? Like, why do we create something and then share it online, or decide to share a photo of our food, or like, you know, just the most trivial things or most complex things, or like what is the purpose of creation, you know? And it's like, if our intentions are, you know, monetary, or, you know, that validation to boost our egos, or is it purely just us enjoying said thing,
Yeah.
and then just having the desire to share that joy. Could that be as simple as that? Can you separate yourself away from that validating feeling of getting likes and getting that dopamine or getting that attention, even if it's not social media, if it's just attention from thinking about I'm going on this big trip across the world, and I don't know, perhaps you plan it with the intention of the idea of coming back just so you can tell stories about it to other people for that validation. Because I've definitely felt that with moving into my car. Am I doing this purely for the stories? That's been a thought in my head. Am I doing this because I want to be able to tell my grandkids one day, I did this, or even just tell people around me, I did this really cool thing. I sound like a really interesting person now because I moved into my car and I have these fun stories. Is that why I'm doing it, or am I doing it because I want to push myself, grow myself, and I perhaps have this just gut feeling that it's what I need to do, and just really kind of doing it for the right reasons,
Yeah. Dude, the thing that I'm thinking about that whole time is drivers, is what I like to call them. It's what drives you, because to do certain things, we have the conscious thought and then we have the unconscious thought. So posting a photo on social media, my conscious thought is I was really happy. I want to share that I was happy to make other people happy. But then unconsciously, I may be receiving validation for an experience that I had, measured in the way of, likes or comments to someone being oh, this looks really fun, and then I feel like I had fun, even if I maybe didn't, I get this little extra thing. So there's an unconscious addiction going on. And, I think with your moving into your car event happening is, I'm sure that there's a bit of both, right? You're probably receiving, some futuristic projected validation for being an interesting person, but also I don't know, the gut narrative, or not the gut narrative, the gut desire for adventure, I think, is something that you have. You've already traveled a bunch this whole year. Regardless of why you did those trips or how you ended up there, it's adventurous to find yourself outside of the US and outside of the world. I have, I know people that are older, even that never travel, that never leave the country, and you literally flew pretty much out of the country 3 times. That's wild.
Yeah.
So I think that there is some adventurous spirit going on there that's just activating, and I think to open up a totally different bottle of just our desires as spirits, as souls, are really complicated, and I just don't think we really understand them, and trying to pin them down is so difficult. He's why am I doing this? Like an artist who's sculpting something, or a musician, who's creating this crazy, piece full of all these different instruments, and to ask them what's driving you, it's God, or it's something so much deeper that we just don't really get. You can pick yourself apart, but
that's the thing, is
getting to the bottom is tricky.
It is, because I'm sure you felt this when creating music or creating anything that you're just when you hit that flow state where you lose track of time and you're in that present moment and you're just having a blast,
dude,
and you're just in that moment. I think that's the that's the golden ticket to just ride that however long you can.
That's what I'm talking about with the present moment.
With the present moment, when you're fully in it and you lose that, and you lose track of time, and then it comes down to that because you can feel that moment and you can construct that thing, but then you often leave that moment, and by the time you leave that moment, that's when you have the decision, do I post this or not post this? Is this purely just for me, or I think social media really opened up doors to clearly monetization of those joyful things, and that could be evil beast of like doing this for the money, doing it for the fame, the
Yeah.
validation, like we're talking about. But it's
Doing
how
it
can
for-
you do both? Can you? And people often say like, yeah, like, what is it like? If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And it's like, well, yeah, but how do you continue to love what you do and not sacrifice? Because there's gonna be hard days, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be days where you're like your passion is gonna be work, like you don't want to do it, but that's the thing, is like, I don't know, all good things usually require effort, and you gotta put in the time, put in the work.
Yeah, I think going back to your, so forgive us, we talked about kind of like present state and a little bit earlier before we hit record as well. I think that like if the present state is really all that exists, right, you're just supposed to, I feel like the only thing you're supposed to do in that moment is just to do the thing you're doing and feel the feelings that you're feeling. You know, I've had days where you're talking about where it's just bliss, you know, shooting a video, creating music, even like being outside. Like I feel fully connected. And then other times, like my mind is elsewhere. You know, I'll be creating a video for something that maybe I'm not passionate about, and I feel pushback from the universe, and I feel, you know, not a full alignment. And I think that really we should just be seeking out experiences that make us feel aligned, and whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever that means. I think that alignment can be, what am I trying to say? Yeah, that is a good point. But there is that boundary of like, you know, you do have to have discipline. You're not going to always want to do something. And I think that is a crazy thing too. Like, even if we're talking about getting into that flow state, there's so many times where like I work on a project and it literally is just the first like step. Like, I don't want to do this right now, but I know like I know I want to, like, at some point, and I have free time. Like, say I have a free day and it's like, oh, I want to work on this passion project. But in the moment, I'd rather just numb myself with YouTube videos or Netflix or something. But it's like, nah, I'll work on this. So I'd put in just like 10-30 minutes into this project, and then once I get the gears turning, then the flow state starts kicking on, and I'm like, oh, this is fun, this is good, like, I want to do this. So it is like, you got to push past that initial resistance. So it might not feel aligned in the moment before you start, but once you take the step, then I feel like things start aligning, you know.
That's like a bizarre, flow state is a bizarre concept.
It really is.
It's a bizarre concept, because why does your emotional connection change? You know, like what is it? Because at that moment, that means something's on, right? Something's on that's making you not want to do this thing. So then what turns off, or what else comes on that makes you enjoy that? You know, like if you're talking about drivers, like what's driving you in the moment? What's pushing you away from doing it? You know, it's like this fake stress of, it's like the fake stress that you have that you're like, oh man, maybe it's because you're looking at the whole project, and the whole project is daunting, and you're like, oh, this is going to take a lot of time, and you want the short-term validation of like completing the project. But then once you're in it, you realize that you actually enjoy the work, and then you're in flow state, and you're now ignoring the stress of the entire project, and you're just there.
That is intriguing. Yeah.
I mean, it works for everything. It's like any kind of work, you know, go into your 9-to-5 job, and like, I feel that, you know, when I show up, I'm like, oh man, I got a whole shift ahead of me, and it's tough to get into the state of like, oh, I'm enjoying it. But I think if you're not happy with what you're doing, it's going to be just stress all the time. If you can't activate flow state either, because there are people that can't. Some people I know, I've worked with people that are just stressed the entire time, and it's just like, I mean, for not, I don't want to sound, you know, I don't want to sound mean, but it's like, I can't, like, I've been in jobs where I've not been able to get into the flow state, and I've just been miserable the whole time. It's like, I will never stay in a position like that. Like, it just seems so foolish. You know, if you have power to change your situation, why would you continue to show up to a place that you just want to complain about the whole time?
I know. That is so sad.
I've worked in so many places like that, and most of the time it's why I leave, because people are they just complain about where they're at, and it's like, you realize like you have a brain and you have the ability to act. And I get that people, I know this sounds inconsiderate, but I get that people have conditions, they have baggage, they have children, they have bills to pay, they have people to take care of. I get that, okay? But I really do think that like God rewards the curious, you know? Like if you believe in your heart that like there's a life out there that serves you and your family or whatever situation you're in better, go get it, because it does exist. And I don't know, from my personal experience, it's like my life has had ups and downs, but I do feel like I'm going in the right direction, and I do feel like it gets better the more that I kind of learn and just keep my heart open and keep my mind open.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's something that came to mind in that when you were talking, was like when you are stressed out, like what is stress? Can you be, I don't know,
What is stress?
Like what,
yeah,
like it's like this, because
Where does it come
it like inhibits us, you know, because it's this thing that we try to numb.
Yeah.
We try to numb it away with all the stimulation, and that's the crazy thing. We have so much stimulation now. You can do it with anything.
And stress can come from anything. So you have like certain things that silence certain stressors, you know,
Yeah.
and you can use those things to silence
And
them.
it's like it's still, the stressors are still there. It's just you're choosing not to deal with them by like just sweeping them under the rug. But what it made me think of, what was I thinking? It was like, is stress merely your body's like attempt to control the uncontrollable, or like is stress?
That's a deep take, folks.
Like, is it
your body's like your
attempt.
failed attempt to control the uncontrollable? Yeah, dude.
Because if you, like, for instance, we shoot weddings for a living. Like when we're at weddings,
Koté shoots many weddings. I shoot like 2.
We both shoot weddings.
That's literally facts. I have two lined up this year.
I had a wedding yesterday, and I was a bit stressed at say ceremony, first kiss, getting camera set up, and like the stress, the driver is a projection of this future thought that I'm gonna miss the shot. You know, it's this
or the past thought of your past wedding that stressed you out,
or the past wedding that stressed me out, but not the present moment itself. Like, as long as I go through the motions, I'll get it done,
and that projection fades.
And then, like, as long as you're present, there is no stress. Like, is there a thing of stress in the present? Like, obviously, that sounds like a dumb thing to say, because there's people that are in like war-torn countries, and obviously they're in like physical danger, so there's going to be stress presently.
Yeah.
But I mean, in most people's life, at least people that would probably listen to this, would be like just the day in day out stressors of 9 to 5 work. It's like, you have to get this thing done, sure.
Yeah, you just have to do it.
You can't focus on the stress, man.
Yeah, and so many people do, right? Like I think if you come home from a work day and like what you saved in your head was like, oh, this guy stressed me out. Oh, this guy said this thing. Like,
Dude,
and you didn't, and you like, you conscientiously let those things in, right? Like, you make a decision of like, I mean, I don't know. It's hard because it's like, if people really are stressing you out, and you are feeling like you have to share that when you come home from work, whatever, then I think that's a signal that the work you're doing isn't what you should be doing, you know?
Yeah, no, for
like,
sure.
And I've had this conversation with my roommate, and we've talked about, like, just sharing about our days, and, like, when I started working at the new place that I'm at, he was like, it seems like you're a lot happier here because you have happier things to tell me, you know? Like, you're not bitching about, like, stressful stuff, which I think is a good signal that like you are in a good place, because you're the people around you and like your environment is contributing to that. It's also a perspective thing too. I think it can be both.
Yeah, it can be both, but I think that is a good signifier that maybe you ought to think about changing environments, or at least changing your your thought environment, like what's going on inside your mind, what's happening inside there, because that's a huge thing, you know, what you think about. There's a good quote that I love. Those who think they can and those who think they can't are both usually right.
Yeah.
I forget who says it.
Yeah.
But it's like if you're
Some
constantly... Some guy. You know. Some guy. Some awesome dude.
Comment section. Light it up.
Comment section of the voice memos on iPhone.
Comment section. Light it up. Who said that? Those who think they can and those who think they can't are usually right. Yeah, man. I mean, I think that's the whole, like, state of mind. It's just whatever you choose to believe. Like, I think that once people reach a certain point, like, once people grow enough and reach a certain point, like, one of the realizations I've had is that, like, life and time, like, great success and achievements, like, just take a few years. You know, if you want to do something, like, just start working on it. You know,
Great things take time.
Great things take time, and like I don't know, like some of the things that I'm most proud of are like my journeys in art, in music, and in video. You know, of my journey of learning.
Totally.
You know, it was like a really beautiful thing that I cherished that journey a lot, and I still continue to cherish that journey. And you know, if there's something that you want to do, just start the journey, man. Like you're alive, you're breathing.
Yeah.
and you know, here I am. I started, you know, both of those things, you know, 5-6 years ago, and now I'm at a place where I'm really happy, and I still am continuing to be happy. So try new things and be bold and continue to do that, because I don't know, life is short, and if you're interested in something, check it out. Why not?
Yeah. Don't be afraid to fail.
Don't be afraid to fail.
I think that's like
Facts.
a thought that just came to my mind is like that's probably like one of the biggest facades of this world, is like being afraid to fail.
Yeah, being a failure.
Because that idea inhibits so many people from actually taking a step. It inhibits me. I've felt it. And it's like if you listen to that lie, then you're just gonna be constantly living in fear.
It's kind of a bizarre thought to have, that like fear of failure like would produce failure, you know?
Well, yeah, what's that? There's a phrase that kind of like goes along that.
It's like no matter what, it's going to trap you. It's like no matter what, you're going to fail. Like if you ask any successful person ever, however you define success, it's like that person has been through hard times, you know? Like I follow this YouTuber who does like sales stuff or whatever, and you know, he was like a dishwasher, and then he was like a door knocker salesman for this, you know, weird company, and then he was like a you know, corporate salesman, and then, you know, now he's really successful, whatever. It was like a 20-year thing, and he was like, you just don't ever see the big picture. You know, you think you do, but like you get obsessed with where you're at, and you know, lose sight of where you could be. You know.
Well,
that's
cool.
That's really what I think it comes down to. Is it's like you're gonna obsess over like, oh my gosh, I'm unhappy or I'm stressed out with current me, but like I don't know. It's like
the destination complex of like just being.
There's so
like the cliche, like it's
so much.
It's not the destination, it's the journey. You know.
That's right. Well, guys, thanks for listening to this episode of Koté and Finley.
Koté and Finley, iced coffee in the not iced coffee in the cold, Thai chili in the warm.
Thai chili in the warm.
It's not very warm anymore. The breeze has picked up.
We got this podcast uploaded wherever you're listening to it right now. That's where it is.
Should we put a little date stamp on this so we remember this? So this is July 23rd, 2023. Wherever you are in time, this could be 10 years down the line. Dude, what's crazy to think is our kids could be listening to this. We've talked about that before. Dude. Our kids, as if we're having kids together.
My kids. Yeah.
Our kids, yeah.
So Koté and I
are gonna have kids.
We had 2 boys. One of them is from my sperm.
They're both named Finley.
They're both named Finley.
I'm getting a name change to Finley as well, as Finley attempts to take over the world.
Dude, one little thing before we go. I actually had this conversation with Alston at one point. I was like, about like raising kids with like one of my best friends. Like just how like fun that would be.
That would be actually an interesting thing.
I mean, it's like
you know, they need the
need
feminine.
I need the feminine energy,
Yeah,
and like
they
I
do.
want that, and I want a wife, but also like raising kids with the bros. Like, can you imagine
I
how
think
just,
that's why uncles are around, you know?
can you imagine how broed out your kid would be if he just hung out with the boys all the
Dude.
time?
Well, that's what's cool about, like...
Would he have social skills to like interact with women? Because I feel like most of my like social skills for interacting with women came from my sister and my mom.
Dude, literally, that's why I think I sucked with talking with women for the longest time, because I grew up around boys.
Yeah,
That's the thing. If you want to
Kote's
get
just
better...
one of the boys.
If you just want to get good at talking to women, you just gotta talk to more.
You just gotta talk to
women.
women.
You literally. Because, yeah, dude. Bully, I was gonna say something. Shoot, it's gone now.
Well, tune in to next episode.
Next episode, 10 years ago. 10 years later.
10 years ago. We're gonna take a time machine to the past. All right, we love
Dude,
you guys.
what if we release this
What?
one first?
This one,
That'd be funny.
and then 10 years later.
Dude, what if we release backwards? Like, what if we shoot every single
Dude.
podcast that we're ever gonna do,
Dude.
and then release it in backwards order?
That's so sick.
Dude, we should do that. Let's make a podcast when we're like 50, and this is all the content.
That would be insane. Wait, would we release the like 500th episode?
Yeah, we would
Like-
start backwards. So we would.
So wait, would
like,
we release the 500th episode and
So-
then the 449th?
Yeah, we would come to a point.
499.
We'd come to a point where we'd say,
Dude.
"All right, dude, let's start this thing," and then we'd be like, "Okay, let's record our last podcast or our first podcast." And then we'd start it, and then we'd
Oh
have
my-
backlogged every.
Oh my gosh, that's a crazy idea.
Dude, that'd be kind of a cool like.
That'd be an insane time capsule idea.
Dude, because we obviously haven't uploaded any of these yet, so that would be kind of crazy, man.
That would be absolutely
kinda
insane. I'd have to go archive the current iced coffee in the cold.
We need to make sure we have these back.
This is the most ADHD idea I've ever heard.
We're just
All right,
continuing.
I'm stopping this thing. Bye.